Before you even hit play, you already know the feeling. That faint sound of waves, a voice shouting about becoming the pirate king, a ship cutting across an endless blue sea, and somehow, your chest gets tight. One Piece has been running for over 20 years, more than 1,000 episodes. In an industry where most anime end in 12 or 24, this is an impossible lifespan. And yet, it's still one of the most beloved, most discussed, most felt stories ever told. It's not just nostalgia. It's not just good writing. It's something much deeper. Something that makes this story still worth joining, even if you're years behind. Today, we're diving into why One Piece still matters, not just as anime history, but as part of people's lives. Welcome to Anime Origins. For the past 2 episodes, we've explored how Luffy's chaotic worldview is rooted in philosophy, and how his dream reshaped the very idea of what anime heroes could be. But this is the finale of our One Piece miniseries, because today, we're not just talking about Luffy, we're talking about the story that grew up with us, and why, even after 1,000 episodes, it still feels alive. The longest slow burn payoff in anime history. Eiichiro Oda doesn't just tell stories, he weaves puzzles. Plot threads introduced in episode 20 don't explode until episode 820. That kind of patience builds something rare in fiction: trust. Fans don't just show up for flashy fights. They show up because every line, every island, every scar might matter someday. And when those payoffs arrive, Robin screaming, "I want to live," or Luffy punching a celestial dragon, not for glory but for justice, it hits harder than almost anything else in anime. Because One Piece makes you earn those moments, and in return, it gives you emotional rewards you'll never forget. The Straw Hats aren't just characters, they're family. If you've watched long enough, the Straw Hats stop being characters. They become people you know. They argue. They fail. They laugh until they fall over. They're selfish, stubborn, sometimes even embarrassing. But they grow. Zoro's quiet loyalty, Nami's control and fear of loss, Sanji's pride and the pain beneath it. Even Usopp, the coward, becomes a hero in his own way. Watching One Piece isn't like watching fiction. It's like growing up with friends you'll never lose. Themes that grew with us. At first, One Piece was a light-hearted adventure. But as the years went on, the world darkened. Suddenly, it wasn't just pirates and treasure. It was slavery, genocide, corruption, inherited trauma. Villains stopped being cartoonish bad guys. They became systems, ideologies, the kinds of enemies you grow up to realize are real. And yet, through all of it, Oda never abandoned the heart. Luffy still laughs. The crew still dances after meals. There's joy, even in the darkest corners. That balance, wonder, and pain together is why One Piece never lost its soul. The One Piece isn't a treasure, it's a promise. The greatest mystery of the series is the treasure itself. No one knows what it is. No one even knows if it's real. But maybe that's the point. Because One Piece was never about the finish line. It's about the journey. It's about protecting a dream, even when the world tells you to give it up. It's about finding people who'll fight for that dream with you. And even if you never reach the treasure, you still win because you never stopped sailing. That message doesn't just hit when you're a kid. It grows sharper the older you get, when life gets harder, when you start asking if your dreams are still worth chasing. One Piece says, yes, they always are. The legacy. After all this time, One Piece isn't just a long anime. It's a cultural landmark, a generational story, a global phenomenon that redefined what it means to tell a saga. It made manga cool worldwide. It inspired artists, writers, teachers, dreamers, and it gave millions of people a way to say, I believe in something. That's why, even after 20 years and more than 1,000 episodes, One Piece still matters. Not because it's perfect, but because it dares to be this big, this emotional, this human. Thanks for watching. This is Anime Origins, where every story has a deeper story. This was the finale of our One Piece series, but the journey continues. Because next time, we're stepping into the origins of anime itself, how it all began, and why the very first stories still matter today. Watch this next if you're interested in how real mythology, history, and philosophy have shaped some of anime's most iconic characters and powers. See you soon.